And we're back. Woohoo!
We'll be together again. I've been waiting for a long time. We're gonna be together again. I've been connected to the right line. We'll be together. Nobody ain't never gonna disconnect us, forever separate us, or say to us you got to stop. Stand there where you are before you go too far, before you make a fool out of love. Don't jump before you look, get hung upon a hook before you make a fool out of love. We'll be together again. I've been waiting for a long time. We're gonna be together again. I've been connected to the right line. We'll be together. Nobody ain't never gonna disconnect us, forever separate us, or say to us you got to stop. Stand there where you are before you go too far, before you make a fool out of love. Stop. Don't jump before you look, get hung upon a hook before you make a fool out of love. We'll be together. Nobody ain't never gonna disconnect us, forever separate us, or say to us you got to stop. Stand there where you are before you go too far, before you make a fool out of love. Stop. Don't jump before you look, get hung upon a hook before you make a fool out of love. Stop. Stand there where you are before you go too far, before you make a fool out of love. Stop. Don't jump before you look.
There you go, Erasure. Stop. We will in an hour. It's hour 3 of 3, ladies and gentlemen. Radio 2, Graham Norton, all that nonsense. Later, I'll be chatting to the designer, author, and fashion expert for the Netflix series Queer Eye. That's Tan France. He's only written a book, ladies and gentlemen. It's published and everything. It's in shops. If you've got a question, comment, or query for Tan, then you know what to do. You email graham.norton@bbc.co.uk, or you could hang around the street and shout at him. Either of those ways would work. Now, it's my next guest. We've just heard him. Yeah, he's half of Erasure. In 1986 with Vince Clarke, he formed one of the most successful bands on the British charts. They went on to sell over 25 million records, ladies and gentlemen. Release 18 studio albums, of which 4 topped the UK charts. Away from Erasure, he's enjoyed a successful solo career, and today he's here to tell us about his most recent album, Torsten in Queerteria. There. Andy Bell is next after another of his biggest hits with Vince. It's Blue Savannah. Ah, lovely.
Sometime in the early hours,
Erasure, Blue Savannah, introducing half of Erasure, Andy Bell. Hello.
Hello.
Is that weird? Do you ever listen to your own stuff?
I don't listen to it very much at home, but it's nice to hear that song because I'm doing it this evening, so I just get in tune with the song.
Yeah. Because you're at Let's Rock Leeds tonight.
Yeah.
And presumably it's one of those things, if you're driving the car, suddenly, an Erasure song will come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting, when stuff does come on. I mean, it's not very often that I hear my own stuff, but I have been driving along before and I had a little smoke, and then the Circus came on or something, or no, it was Spiraling from the Circus, which was in 1986, and I thought, oh, this is lovely. Who's this? And it's you. That's you, Andy.
This vocalist is beautiful. What a gorgeous voice.
It was California. Yeah.
We should say your third solo album, Torsten in Criteria, is out now. But this isn't. It is an album. It is an album. But Torsten is a character you've played quite a lot now.
Yes, I've been playing him for 5 years, and
did you come up with Torsten, or did Barney? Yeah, Barney Ashton.
Barney Ashton Bullock. He was the guy he came up with the whole concept of Torsten, and we met each other at the Kerrang Awards one time. And he said, "I've got this character that I've written especially with you in mind." And I thought, and then I listened to it and I thought, wow, yes, it sounds really amazing and very interesting, and something that I thought was really off the wall that the people wouldn't expect from the Andy Bell kind of character, because we're very pop and clean and stuff like that, So this character's you don't really quite know what he is, but there's quite a lot of sleaze in there, and I mean he's 115 years old now, so he doesn't grow old, and he's kind of lived around the world. His father was a sailor, his mum cleaned the ships, and they ended up living in Bournemouth, I think. So it's just like his life stories, all the lovers that he's had. He's polysexual, so there's no kind of boundaries for him.
It reminds me in a way, when you talk about it, of someone like Hedwig in The Angry Inch.
Yeah.
Is it sort of, are you telling stories and performing? Is it all set in a concert?
It's mostly through singing. I mean, though there is a hell of a lot of dialogue,
noticed,
which I'm not so good at. So I do the singing part. But the people we had with us at the Above the Stag Theatre, where we performed in April, I think, they were amazing. Because they were such quick learners. And I had to kind of relearn the songs. We'd only just recorded the songs in the studio last December after the last Erasure tour. So between December and March, I had to kind of relearn new versions of the songs with lyrics on them. So it's all twists your mind round,
And do other people play Torsten as well?
This year we had a young Torsten because it was too many lines for me to learn, and
I like this idea.
Yeah, you can have a young.
I'm not learning it. You do it.
No. But my mind was in a bit of a fog. It does tend to do that sometimes, especially when you switch off.
And also, it's not a discipline that you were ever doing, what I mean?
Not at all, no. Yeah. That's why, I love the idea of learning my lines, but when it actually comes down to it, it depends how they're written and what you're talking about, kind of thing.
And also, because if it's too stressful, you're not going to enjoy it. You're never going to remember them. It's just...
You do end up, before, probably about 2 weeks before we went on, I nearly walked because I just thought this is impossible, But then we all just sat down and Barney said, "Calm down," and Christopher Frost, he's the songwriter. He was the musicianist. They all just said, "You're going to be okay. It's going to be fine," But that's part of the reason why I like doing it, because it's steps me outside of Erasure and music,
And also, it must be such a weird thing for you, because you're touring with Erasure, doing those venues, those crowds, to suddenly be at the Edinburgh Festival or Above the Stag, to be able to look everyone in the eye. Does that freak you out?
It's really, it is really freaky. I mean, you kind of feel like, because adrenaline's you would think it'd be the same every time, but it's not. Like the adrenaline before a show. I mean, that's you can kind of get used to that before an Erasure show. Yeah. But then something like this, because it's so, as you say, so immediate, so the people are right there, I don't know what's the equivalent really. It's probably trying to walk across hot coals or doing a tightrope walk or something, you know.
You just have to believe.
You just, otherwise you're just going to... all you have to think is like, well, if it all goes wrong, what can you do?
Well,
nothing.
People will go on. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I'll just close my eyes and pretend there's nobody.
And because you've been working with Vince for so long, how weird is it then to sing these songs, which aren't? I mean, because people will say, "Oh, it's an Andy Bell album," but these are not like Erasure songs.
No.
So, is it odd to get your voice used to the different rhythms, the different sounds?
Oh yeah, I mean that's really tricky. That's one thing that I love with Torsten is the trickiness of it, because it takes my mind to places where I would never think of going on my own when we're writing melodies. So in that way, that stretches me when I'm writing with Vince. And also, I mean, he's always trying to push outside of his boundaries anyway by doing his own podcasts and things like that, you know, and making music for other people. But for me, it is like speaking in a different language. You know? I mean, I don't speak Norwegian or Swedish, so I don't know how it's if it's written in that way. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And so, like tonight, when you're at Let's Rock Leeds, it's just you, and I mean, obviously Vince isn't there.
We've got a keyboardist, 2 dancers. They're professional dancers.
Oh, professionals!
Pole dancers.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they're professionals.
Well done.
One's a pole dancer, and the other one's a Dita Fonte's.
Oh yes, burlesque
Dancer, and we have a guitarist, keyboardist, and a drummer,
and an accordionist.
No, you don't. Of course. Yeah.
And are you used to that now, or do you do you like it when Vince is there?
Well, I do like it when Vince is there, but again, that's another family, you know, because it's the reason I love it with Vince is because we have the same team and we're all on the bus, and I love being on the bus, you know, and you get used to it. It's like being on a caravan for 3 months or however long it takes.
So at the end of it, you enjoy it, but then you want to kill everyone.
At the end of it, you're sick of everybody. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have more from Andy after a track from the album. So what do you want to tell us? This is a beautiful song.
Yeah.
We Hadn't Slept for 20 Years. Talk us through that song.
Oh, that's really like, this song to me is kind of a champagne toast to all those that have gone before us and the ones that survived.
We worked hard and we parted harder, dealt with the sleepless nights long after, toasted everyone known to man, outpaced the younger, also ran, as the midnight hour became the morn. Laughter with friends became our norm, and looking back through champagne tears, realized we hadn't slept for 20 years. 20 years, 20 years, lived so fast the time all but disappeared. 20 years, 20 years, iconoclast for whom it all ended in tears of joy. Party hopping, staying out late, in a blur we'd socialize and circulate. We yesteryears pouting, pretty young things, all the jokes we shared, all the songs we'd sing, the chatter, the loose talk, the revelry, the lovers and friends we hoped we'd win. We look back through our champagne tears to realize we hadn't slept for 20 years. 20 years, 20 years, lived so fast the time all but disappeared. 20 years, 20 years, iconoclast for whom it all ended in
When flash was fab and greed was good, the glitterati was understood to be where we aspired to be, among it girls, movie stars, royalty. I stalled, didn't want to endlessly be so self-congratulatory. 20 years, live so fast the time all but disappeared. 20 years, iconoclast for whom it all ended in tears of joy.
There you go. I'll give you a round of applause. I love the sentiment of that song. It's gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
We Hadn't Slept for 20 Years. Andy Bell, and that is from Andy's third solo album, Torsten in Couture, which is out now. Should also say Andy is appearing tonight at Let's Rock Leeds and Let's Rock Southampton on July the 6th. We're going to get to listeners' questions, but just in case no one specifically asks, what is the plan with Erasure? I mean...
Well, Vince lives in Brooklyn, so I'm going to go over because we've got one show in LA, not Erasure, Andy, and so I'm going to stop off on the way there and see him for probably about 5 days, see what happens. He's got a studio in his basement down there, and then we'll go and do our show, and then come back, and I'll see him again at the end of August, and then if we've got anything material wise. We'll record it and then see if any shows.
So that's interesting. So you don't make a concrete plan. You just kind of let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. But once you've had lunch with the MD of Mute, you know that something's going in the diary.
Okay.
So that's coming up. That's on July the 4th, I think.
Okay.
So they kind of count backwards from when it the finish date of the album kind of thing.
Okay, so something is happening.
Something might happen. It depends on whether we write anything comes out or not, because it might not, but I'm sure it will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quietly confident.
Yeah.
Quietly confident.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to some listeners' questions. Here we go. Bertie in Shrewsbury. During the 80s and 90s, what was the most outrageous costume you wore on stage? Do you still have it? Do you archive all your clothes?
I do. I've got some things, but some things get lost along the wayside. So I think,
and also presumably some things just rot.
Yeah, some things
and...
have rotten in my basement. There was a whole heap of clothes, and they're still down there. So I'm not sure what it's like, but
yeah, like Spring Watch. There's a badger living in Andy's wardrobe.
There might be. You never know. And it was a pair of 12-inch PVC red Vivienne Westwood high heels, which I just had with a pair of Y fronts and a vest and a corset.
Nice,
which was very nice.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Emma in Plymouth. Musically, who were your heroes when you were growing up, and did you ever meet any of them?
I did have a few heroes. I met the beautiful Debbie Harry from Blondie, who I love. Wow. Annie Lennox, who I love. Lena Lovitch, who I love. Madonna. But also, I went for all the women as well. So it's like Pretenders, Susie Sue.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But I was quite nervous with some of them. But Cyndi Lauper, Debbie was kind of my hero.
Yeah. But still going strong.
Amazing.
Yeah. Amy in Camberwell, what was your life like before Erasure? And how did you celebrate landing the gig with Vince?
Well, I suppose I was quite like, even though there were 6 of us, I was quite lonely child, I would say, or kind of in my own imagination kind of thing. Yeah. And so wanted to escape that I felt like it was a rut, and wanted to escape from that. So moved to London when I was 17 and just wanted to experiment with life and stuff. And I always knew that I would be in a band, and Vince Clarke was kind of my hero. So I thought I should write him a letter, and it came that the ad I answered was actually for him. So it seemed like it was.
That's amazing.
I know.
I mean, that, like, if somebody put that in a book or a film, you go, well, that's just stupid. Try harder. That's a terrible story.
Yeah.
That's amazing that all just happened.
That's what I think sometimes. I think, well, you use that trick up. Which one are you going to do next? You know.
This is an interesting question I haven't asked you before. Karen in Burnley. Was it difficult being a well-known openly gay figure in the 80s? And did you ever feel in danger or under threat?
I felt more in danger in the lead up to that actually coming out. You know, when you lived in in London at that time, especially around the King's Cross area, you know, it was really run down. There were loads of kind of gangs and stuff, skinheads. So I remember kind of being chased lots of times on the underground and stuff. So that's the reason why I wanted to come out, just to kind of make that.
Yeah.
Confront those people, you know, and we were quite lucky because there was a bit of a political wave going on in pop then. So you just you felt comfortable, you know. But I mean, you are wrapped up in cotton wool, you know, in the media. But we had people like running, screaming after us in Italy and saying, I come with you, you know, into the taxi. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm gay. She said, I don't care. And they all used to think I was Jimmy Somerville. So they would chase after me the whole time. I was like, I'm not Jimmy.
Frank from Eccles. What was it about the film, the album rather, the Circus?
The Circus.
Circus.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm sure they can't have an album called Circus. Yeah. The Circus that made it such a turning point for Erasure.
I think it was the first time that Vince sat down and wrote as a duo. That's what happened. Yeah, I think we decided because originally I was employed as a singer, and I think that kind of,
which is what he'd done previously.
Yes, that kind of broke the mould. The recording that album together, and he was very generous, Vince. I mean, he'd written the whole of Wonderland. That was the first album we did, and he gave me 50% of the royalties just for coming up with the word "Au l'amour" for the song. So, you know,
that's going to inspire you to write some more words.
Going to inspire you, yeah. So from then on, it's 50-50 all the way.
And did you know? I mean, had you when you knew you were a singer?
Yeah.
Had you aspired to being a songwriter?
I had. Yeah, I'd been kind of a poetry writer, and which I thought, well, you can put tunes to them. And my auntie said she remembers me going around the house and singing songs to her, and it was songs like pack a suitcase like toothpaste, squashing from the tube. Come on, hurry up, white rabbit. Oh dear, I'm gonna be late. What's the time? Why overtime when you got no time? And things like that.
Wow. Beautiful. A cappella, ladies and gentlemen. A cappella. Very quickly, Paul in Norwich, what was it like filming the music video for Fill Us With Fire at the very large telescope facility in northern Chile? How did you end up there?
That was, I was invited by a friend of a friend. He lives down there. He maintains the telescopes and everything, So he kind of has access, but you have to be really, really quiet. It's like, I think they filmed James Bond, one of the James Bond at that site. So he invited us, and you go down to Atacama. It's in the Atacama Desert, and you just like stay in these little huts where they live. And we just got drunk on wine and staring at the moonlight and stuff. And that was it, really. But
people can't go. We shouldn't encourage people to go.
No, you can't go there because it's a lightless place.
It is not a holiday destination.
You can't just walk there, but it was amazing.
Andy Bell, we're out of time, but let's just remind everybody your third solo album, Torsten and Cordelia, is out now. You're appearing tonight at Let's Rock Leeds, and Let's Rock Southampton is on July the 6th. Always a pleasure, Andy. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Graham, so much. Thank you.